In this video, we will focus on what is behavioral therapy, what are its elements, how do we set goals, and whether or not it's efficacious. And finally, we will look at some tech-based solutions such as internet and apps. It is important to note that at any given time, 2/3 of adults in the US are actively considering or attempting weight loss, and only 20% are utilizing both components of diet and exercise on a regular basis. The United States Preventive Scientific Task Force has determined that anyone in the US with a BMI of greater than 30 ought to be provided access to multimodality treatment for control of obesity in the long term. Now, there is no doubt that when weight loss advice is provided effectively over the long term, then research evidence points towards a significant benefit. So what are the main components of behavioral therapy? And the objectives are very clear. You modify and monitor the food intake, you modify the physical activity, and then you control the environment so that this can be carried out on a sustained level. And how do you do it? The focus is on altering the environment, reinforce good behavior, you shape their eating behavior and physical activity, and you provide the healthcare benefit by reducing the risk of developing diseases associated with obesity. How do we bring about a change in the behavior? And that is by firmly setting goals with each person. It is important to be self-aware and actually monitor by keeping food diaries and a record of activity, that is physical activity, by controlling or modifying the stimuli that activate eating. And that would be different for each individual person. By examining the eating style, slowing down the eating process, by rewarding good behavior and discouraging poor behavior that gets in the way of weight loss, by meal planning and altering the thought process in general, and finally giving the tools for problem solving. It is very important to set goals from the outset, both in terms of weight loss and in terms of what behavior changes we wish to see. In terms of weight loss, a 5 to 7% weight loss sustained over a long period of time has been associated with significant health benefits. A reduction of 500 calories in a day leads to weight loss of about 1 pound or half a kilogram per week. This, of course, can be accelerated by increasing activity. Self-monitoring by keeping a record, self-diaries, self-monitoring tools, whether they are on apps, increasing self-awareness so that patients do not expose themselves to the kind of environment that in the past has led to increased eating, and developing effective strategies to deal with these situations when they do arise in the future. By improving the eating style, by slowing down, actually savoring the food, concentrating on the texture, the quality of the food, and taste rather than the speed of eating. Regular weighing has been shown to have reasonable value in attaining goals and keeping patients motivated. As mentioned before, you want to encourage behavior that is helpful and to discourage that doesn't help. Research has confirmed that when the portions are controlled and the meals are planned ahead by cooking big batches and storing them in a freezer is a very effective way of long-term weight loss and maintaining it. It takes away the key daily decisions that one has to make and simplifies meal times. Providing social support is an essential part, such as a spouse, family member, or a close friend who provides a supportive, encouraging environment and is fully involved in the weight loss and the behavioral goals. Research evidence points towards that. What are the other tools? Reinforcing positive attitude, such as if there is dietary indiscretion for going out for a walk or a gentle jog versus feeling bad and feeling as a failure. Assertiveness, learning to say no, as well as being able to deal with situations such as parties, birthdays, and so on, which in the past may have led to excessive eating. Focusing on stress reduction, because stress for a large number of people is associated with excess eating, called comfort eating. And lastly and importantly, exercise is a key part of this multimodality treatment for obesity. And yet again, research evidence points to prolonged and effective success for patients who are able to exercise on a regular basis and to incorporate that as part of their strategy. So let's look at research evidence to support whether or not a multimodality behavioral-based program where assessment, advice and encouragement is provided by professionals on a regular basis, does that lead to weight loss and then to sustained and healthy lifestyle? Several trials over the course of several years have now established that behavioral-based programs, professionals are able to assist patients long term and to overcome the various impediments can be very beneficial in the long term. What about the commercial or the self-help programs? According to a 2015 publication, Weight Watchers provided a 2.9% improvement, Jenny Craig diet 4.9% improvement, and Atkins diet up to 2.9% improvement over the long term compared to those people who were not on these programs. However, these are expensive, not readily available, and are time intensive, and may be associated with diet changes that may not be suitable for each patient. More recently, several internet-based programs have appeared that provide advice over the internet with regular meetings with the patients and patient-provided feedback. Another development is mobile phone apps. These phone apps for control of weight as well as type 2 diabetes have proliferated and may have benefit for certain patients. However, quality of these apps is difficult to determine. The ability to provide the appropriate advice in real time is difficult to determine, and the bidirectional feedback that patients sometimes need by talking to a real person and explaining their issues may not be available. On the bright side, food advice and a calorie count is very easy to access. Undoubtedly, this area will undergo a transformation. The recent availability of artificial intelligence tools, which has the potential to transform this aspect. To achieve weight loss, the two main tools of diet and exercise are absolutely the key. For most people, they would benefit from a multimodality intervention where they are provided with advice by specialists so that they can develop self-awareness. They're fully engaged with the program. They're able to monitor themselves. They're able to monitor both the kind of food they eat as well as the amount of exercise they do and what they need, and then to maintain that over the long term. And it is always going to be a journey, and when this journey is assisted by qualified and able professionals, then it is very possible to achieve sustained improved quality of life and reduction in the risks associated with obesity. This completes this brief topic. If you have any comments, please do share.